I just want to share some information that's in my head. It's been in there for a few days. If I don't get it out, I'm going to lose it all. Because if I have to go over it again, I'll spend hours and hours. So I'll just let it all hang out, using my memory only. I mean, this is four days old already, I think. But I tried to get my head around this again yesterday. It took me all day. I still couldn't get my head around it. But this is why I've got to get it out as soon as it comes into my head. Otherwise I'll lose it. But anyway, this is about Orion's belt again. If you've seen my previous videos. If you haven't, you might want to go back and check them out. But so this is what's happening between the two sky rotations. There's two separate sky rotations if you're not aware. And from east to west, the Orion's belt comes through at this time of the year. And so I've drawn it here. And I've also mentioned that they represent the three pyramids in Egypt. Even the faint lines off to the side of Menkaure, Pyramid Menkaure, the smaller one. You get the faint lines off to the side of that passing through as well. Here they are here. These are the three pyramids. There's Khufu furthest north, Khafre, Menkaure, and the Queen's Pyramids. And what happens here is we don't see the three lines because one of them is on the same line as Menkaure's line coming through the sky. We only get these two here. And when you really put your head to it and you've got to spend frickin' time trying to do it, you realise how. Because one is on that line passing through the sky. I haven't drawn this exactly right, I don't think. Because initially you look at this and that doesn't work like that, but it does. You have to spend some time on it. It's not straightforward, but this just goes to show how the pyramids represent the Orion's belt. This picture here is basically a mirror, just flipped on there. And it's quite difficult to understand actually because you've got your ground plan. These are your pyramids and all lined up and whatever. Then I use my time-lapse photography, which is sitting on the screen like this. So you quite often start thinking, well, you know, there's north and there's south, but no, it's not because it has to come up like this. So there's south, there's north, and if you haven't got your head in the right place, it's flipping all over the place. It's really hard. But anyway. So that going like that, so what you think is north, isn't it? It's south. It goes like that, which is quite funny because when you stop and think about the centre Earth vortex in the Milky Way, it works the same way. That is south. So we look at it, it's north, it's south, but it doesn't work like that way. It passes over the sky like this, or it's reflected into the sky like that. So that represents south. North is down there. This is the expanding universe in physics, the vortex. So you look back to this, you look at all these angles. You'll see the angle of Orion's belt. Straight through there, square off there, gives you this pitch. This is the pitch of Khufu. You can argue it's 52, but no, I've worked it out. You've seen my previous videos. That's what it is. There's the pitch in there. There's the angle. You draw a triangle in here, directly south, directly north to the middle. Over here, there's the angle. You go square off it. That's where this first Queen's Pyramid strikes. Square off this line. And then you go square off, if this was longer, you square off here. How does it go? Oh, square off there. There's a square there. You square off there, you hit this one. You know, it should be way up there, so if this is a bit longer, you'd see it. Square across, and you hit this point here. It's all to precision. And then when you start looking at other stars, there's two golden stars here. Sirius, I think, and something else. Can't remember. Don't know too much about astronomy, but anyway. They come off in certain angles too. They're not random. That's what I'm trying to say. They're not random. Anyway, there's the gap between the two sky rotations, and that's the gap through there, right? It's the Polaris rotation, the southern rotation. This is wandering through here, around here. Now, I spent about 3 hours watching this video the other day on YouTube. Two physicists sitting there talking about all sorts of stuff, and I'm going to do. I'm going to break it down how it's all explained here, and they've come to a standstill basically. It's like they don't know. They can't figure things out because they don't accept this model. But it's all explained in here. It's everything. But just wait for that video. But anyway, it got me thinking how I'd go about trying to explain it. And then it dawned on me, what the planets are doing. I've been showing my stuff, but not actually using my, well, I don't want to call it theory, I call it fact, because it is fact. My reasoning as to how the planets are working. Because I keep referring back to what we see out here, and how we draw the planets on a flat plane, on the elliptic, on the ellipse, and forgetting that the system is what's down, what comes out in here, we see come down, and what goes in here, we see come up. So I go back to this and realise, oh my goodness. No, I'm a bit slow. I should have figured this out ages ago. Well, if you saw a previous video, you would have seen I mentioned up here the pillars and columns. I should have actually said obelisks and stuff, representing the constellations and stuff, and the one that's always lying on the ground represents the elliptic. The rest are like this in the system, in the vortex, in my vortex model. Let's do a bigger model. There's the vortex, centered Earth vortex. There's the Milky Way. That's the spin in the center of a vortex water. This is the vacuum science likes to talk about. The counter force to the magnetic field that's spinning around it, which flows up, what science will call flowing electrons in the induction system, magnetic induction system. And this system comes down. Well, in here, this is how we have the planets in here. They're on in here, right? So let's blow that up and use this as the vacuum downward flow. There. It's on this wall. And it's shaped like this. We have the planets. The 5 main ones we talk about. Or the elliptic. They're around here. Or you've got several rows. Not much of an artist, but they're in here, like this. And when we see them pass in front of the sun, the sun will be here. Because the sun goes around every day. There's centre there. Going around every day. So all the planets, they all move together. But they're all slightly slower as they come up. Further away, see? You know what I mean? They're further away from the sun. So what's up here in our world is up and in. Is in. And what appears to be down is out. So we see that it'll be playing like that. So what's coming out here, not what's in here, closer in here maybe, that's down and out, that's down here. This is what it says in, it's hard to get your head around, I know. This is where Pluto, Socrates mentions the cycles of the planets, not, you know, overlapping, or I can't remember his words. They don't cross each other, because this is how it works. And then it took me back to the other video I did earlier about mentioning the ring of fire, because that's what it is. It's a band. It's a band. It took me back to that movie, Lord of the Rings. It's not the ring around the solar eclipse. This is the ring of fire. It's the band. And then what happens? I think, hang on, what's the bloody Coliseum in Rome? What's that all about? Because that came to mind, because that was the image I was getting, a ring, and then, oh my goodness. And I thought, I bet it's flipping 7 stories high, or 5 maybe, because there's 5 planets. So I look it up, and I had no idea. I didn't even know it was elliptical. So there you go. The whole thing is the construction of the centre Earth vortex. Because I've drawn the Milky Way before. You can't see this side because the sun's shining out this way. And and I drew the eyebrow in here. There's the shield. There's the eyebrow. What the heck does the Coliseum look like? It looks like this. With the shield around like that. And what does it do? It's tiered. All the seating is tiered. Like this. It's also tiered. The whole thing is representing this. It's telling us. It's shown there. They might want to tell you that's all collapsed, but no. It was always like this. Because you start thinking amphitheatre. Because that's what it is. It's an amphitheatre. And what have I been saying about the vortex in the middle here? It's an amplifier. It amplifies everything. Projects everything out into our realm. It's an amplifier. They knew this way back when they were looking into, this is the magnetron, the microwave, vacuums and stuff for radio signals, sending out signals, amplifications and stuff in a closed system. This is what it is. So what do? I start doing a little research on it. We'll show you the picture. Look at this. This is mind blowing. Look at the picture. If that's not obvious, I might want to count all the windows up. They might represent something too. 144, I don't know. Anyway, so here we have it. Flavian, amphitheatre, amplification. Flavian, what's it mean? Yellow, blonde, white light, it's the sun, pure white light. Including his 2 suns they talk about. Suns, S-U-N, It's all astrophysics. Bessian means west, and it takes us back to this, because it all referring to this divine moment. Everything is left for us for this moment, for us to wake up. We haven't seen it. West, it's moving west. The other sons, Titus, pigeon. If you know anything about pigeons, homing pigeons, what is the door? They call it the entry. They come in. Like this, and they can't get out because this closes behind. Pigeons, we normally have like this and some wires hanging down. They go through and they can't get back out. But this is what they're referring to in the pigeons. The pigeonhole. Get in, can't get out. Yeah, Titus. And Domitian, tame. What have I said before in previous videos? Taming the lion. Then we come into king, because a king is born out of here once this opens. It's what all religion's all about. It's what it's describing. And the lion, taming the lion. You've tamed your first birth, the lower chakra region. You've raised the frequency, the chakras, whatever. You've tamed the lion. This is just our, for a better word, dumbness in our first birth. Physically born, you're down here in your lower chakras. This is hell. Being on earth is hell till you raise your chakras and become into heaven. This is killing the lion off. You've seen Babylonians or Sumerian where the king's holding the lion. He's tamed the lion, holding the lion. And at the same time, this all represents the constellation Leo and Virgo. Between Leo and Virgo, you've tamed the lion. Moved into Virgo, is it? Yeah. So, built by Titus Vespasian after the Great Fire. What's in the vortex? Milky Way. The Great Fire, the sun. Just east. This was built, this Coliseum. Just east facing west. East facing west. God, it's freaking blowing my mind. Until people can get their head around it. But to me it all makes sense. The whole thing, it's just unbelievable. It's all there. Right in your face. And, I'll just grab my phone. Hang on 1 second. Right, I'm back with the phone. It just shows how man has interpreted history all wrong. It's just mad. What do we got here? The pyramids. And you check out the pyramids. There's an arc. There's a slight arc. I couldn't find it again. I think Graham might have it on his side. I can't remember. But that arc, I'd like to know what that represents. There's probably this diameter here or something. Or Earth. One of the two. So here's a picture of the pyramids again. You could say the arrows are going that way, it's flowing that way. Because there's the one pyramid in behind. These two stuck out the side. Oh, one behind the pyramid, Menke, the two out the side. There's another picture we've all seen them, I suppose. Furthest north, Khufu, for the moon. And also in a previous video I mentioned, Khufu never had the cap on it. But we still take this measurement because that does represent something. That was the moon, and I can't remember now, but this actually represents something too. So there's the 2 in the one pyramid. It's geometry, mathematical stuff. It all adds up. So this is Flavian, relating to the dynasty AD 69-96. I always put these there's no chronological date to anything, any of this stuff. AD 69 to 96 of Roman emperors, including Vespasian and his sons Titus and Domitian, you know. And they'll make up a big story about it. But, you know, you have to break down the words. The message is all there. The photo. I had no idea that was oval. I went there, but the crowds were too big to bother going in. And there's something else too. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. Let's just do that one. See, Earth is like a clock. So imagine this hand out here has to get from there to there in an hour. But from there to there it's so short. So that distance there, it has to move slower. I get confused which one's which. Slower as you move through time. Slower to move through time because this is a lot quicker. But faster you have to move through space-time. Can you get your head around that? This is how it works. This is how Einstein came about all his relativity. He knew Earth was flat back then. They all knew that back in the early 1900s. They're trying to figure it all out. They couldn't get their heads around it. Oh, it's not here. I thought I took a photo of this. Oh, probably on Facebook or something. I don't know. The tale, that's the story they tell you about it. It's just a joke, and it just shows you how history is all wrong. They misread everything. You want to look into it? It's flipping amazing. But I'm gonna try and do a video on about those two physicists and mention everything they're not latching onto, and show you how it's all explained in the vortex. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Hope you enjoyed.